Hey guys, today I want to do a video about a mother-daughter wedding trip that Brooke and I just went on to my friend Sarah Jane Chic on the Cheap. She got married this past Saturday in Asheville, North Carolina. I live on the coast in Wilmington, so that was a good 6-hour drive. I got the invitation and I got a +1, and I asked John at first if he wanted to go, and he wanted to go, but you know how it is. He doesn't like to travel that much. If I asked him again today, he would probably go. He's getting better and better. But I thought, what a wonderful opportunity for Brooke. And a lot of you tell me that one of the things that you admire about me is that I still have close relationships with my children, my mom, my brother. I really value my family relationships. So what I thought I would do a little different in this video, I can't say we didn't go shopping because Brooke needed a strapless bra and I needed like fashion tape for my bra. So we did just run straight there, get that and come back. But it wasn't a shopping trip. For me, it was a trip to be with Brooke, to show her nice things, show her a good time, and to spend that time with her and really bond even more. Now, one thing that I always say, and this may be something that you don't agree with, is I am never trying to be Brooke's best friend, ever. I never have been. And growing up, my mom was never trying to be my best friend because you need a mom. You need a mom. So that would be a really good tip I would give to any young moms out there that have, young daughters, is they need a mama. They need it. They crave it. If you do not provide that structure and that safe feeling to your child, that guidance, that bonding, they will miss it. They will become less of a stable woman because they never received that. And then when they go to be a mother, they will repeat that process. I'll never forget this girl that said she did not finish high school because, you know, how children are when they're in high school, they don't like it, especially like Will, he loves school. That's his identity. He's smart. He loves school. Brooke hated school from the beginning, and I'm serious, like from preschool. Brooke needs to learn how to share. Brooke needs to learn how to take turns. I mean, she cried every day until second grade. And then I think she started crying every day in middle school. She stopped in high school, but let's just say she never loved school at all. Now, was I going to be her best friend and say, you don't need high school, just go ahead and quit? That would be like a friend thing to do. And that's what this girl told me, is that her mom let her quit high school. Then when she got to be like 24, 25, she's having to go get her GED. She's always felt, negative and bad about that. She says, I wish my mom would have made me go to school. So it's just, they need that. So I thought we would just have fun and go through the pictures. And I did write down some things that I like to talk to Brooke about, that my mom used to talk to me about, and my grandmothers, both of them, used to talk to me about, that I cherish. And I think it's part of the reason that my family is so close. I never have once, not one time in 53 years, ever thought about moving away from my parents. That was on the list of criteria when I was looking for a husband, is I had to stay here with my parents. And I made that very well known. John, before he retired, worked for GE, and he could have made 2-3 times as much if we would have moved every 2 years, if we would have moved to the state where his, the home plant was. And they kept offering it to him, and we just gave it up to stay here with my family and to stay here in a beautiful place and to not take my children out of school every 2 years. We made that a priority. We have always made our family a priority. When John's parents were aging, we drove 2 hours to Clinton every weekend and 2 hours back, because that was our priority. And that's what we showed our children. And that's what my parents showed me. We were at one of my grandparents every weekend. And I do remember going to a wedding with my grandmother and it being so much fun, staying in the hotel, swimming in that pool. She bought me a new bathing suit. And so I just think that's what life is all about. are these experiences. And I was really happy to share that with Brooke. Of course, I would have been happy to share it with John, but I think it meant even more. And she always hears about, my friends and everything. So it was good for her to meet, my friends and coworkers and things like that. So we had planned on leaving at 9 a.m. on Friday. The wedding was on Saturday at 6. We had a room booked, and the wedding was at the Grove Park Inn, which is a very historic, beautiful, beautiful hotel and resort. I mean, just, it was so pretty. And how I am, how I always like I appreciate when a cat does classic cat things, when a dog does classic dog things, when a woman does classic woman things. I love that. I used to love it when Bridget would bury her bone. Oh my gosh, I love it. She would bury it in her blanket and then do it with her nose down. I love instincts. One time I gave her a ginger snap. She took it outside through the doggy door, down the stairs, and dug the cutest little chihuahua hole and buried that ginger snap. I love it. So I love that. I love just things being so authentically them. And that is how this hotel was. That it was very nice, but it was still very in that spirit of the hotel. So I'm getting ahead of myself. My car was still at Tesla in service, which is in Raleigh, 2 hours away. So we tried until the bitter end to get my car back, but they were so nice. They gave us a loaner, which was a brand new Tesla X Plaid, which is pretty equivalent to my car. It's just the SUV version that has the, doors that go up. So, all in all, I couldn't complain. Okay, so it looks like we left here about 9:55, and we stopped, got some food, and then John had already programmed in the GPS all of the charging stations. So we ended up stopping and charging. Then we get to the hotel. This is a tour of our room and Brooke putting her stuff away. And that night, I wore the Aritzia black dress. I love traveling in a dress because it's comfortable. Nothing's on your waist. I wore good old flip-flops. I think it was these. I think I put on my gold Tory Burch little block heels. And we went down for dinner. The restaurant was gorgeous. And this was more of the casual one that had, burgers, a steak. Brooke had salmon, but look at the view. So right here on this patio ledge is where Sarah Jane was going to get married. So we sat there, had the best meal. She had, the salmon. I had a burger with a fried egg. Ignore the fries and the lettuce and tomato. It doesn't matter how many times you tell them, they still bring it. Usually someone at the table will eat the fries. That's what I have come to find out. There's Brooke's salmon. Just a beautiful view. Then all throughout the hotel, they had all of these really cool antique things. Well, I grew up around antiques everywhere. My grandmother loves them. My mom and dad love them. And so I have an appreciation for antiques and everything. And here is an antique scale. And then here is Brooke in the room watching Friends. When I travel alone, I never even turn on the TV. I used to, years and years ago, I would turn on the news or something, but now I've gotten to where I just want silence. I just try to catch up with you guys on Instagram, post some things, maybe watch a video. I just kind of chill out. But she wanted to watch Friends. And then, I'm going to get to my list a little bit of things that I talk about with Brooke when I have her in the car for 6 hours. You think that is just, wow, that's some valuable time. Now, I do tell her to bring her earphones and her earbuds because I think it's not practical to think we're going to want to talk about everything the whole time. And I understand she wants to listen to her music. I want to listen to my podcast. I actually took an online course from up there, and the way back, I took the whole course. And so, but we do have those moments that we're talking and, all of those things. So, I wrote down here, talk about her as a child and memories. So I always tell her funny things that she used to say. I tell her funny things that, we did, and, different words that she used to say. Like, for some reason, she called a spoon a boomsh. And I mean, I don't know where she got that from. She called a belt a seat belt, hotch dis. I tell her what a stinker she was from the moment she was born. I mean, from the moment she was born, that kid has been just a little whippersnapper. And I think that that's so important, because I want her to know how much I was there in the moment and how much I adored every second with her. Whether she was crying, whether she was being a stinker, whether she hated leaving. If you went to anyone's house, to any party, you can best bet when we left, Brooke was going to leave kicking and screaming. Then she got into this thing, and I don't know if it started when I was sewing or if it just got worse, but she had this thing at our old house. We had a glass storm door. Anyone who left our house had to wave bye to her at the door. And I'm telling you, if that person forgot and didn't do it, because our driveway was long and it was a hill and you did have to pay attention getting out. And I think some people, even John, would forget. John would have to come back. I would have to call him and say, she is throwing a fit. But even people that would come buy a bag and pick up their bag or their window treatments or something like that, come look at fabric and stuff like that, she would have them wave to her at the door. So it was hilarious. I would tell her all those stories like that. Another thing that I have always done, and I am so grateful, I take pictures of my children when they're not looking. I have a collection of my children sleeping. There is something about when they are sleeping, they're just little angels. And it takes me back to just looking at them as a baby sleeping. I mean, it doesn't matter how old they get. Will doesn't even hardly look like the same child, because when he was little, he was blonde and chubby. Now he's got dark hair and he's tall and thin. But when I look at him sleeping, or I catch him just right, for one thing, he looks so much like my brother. I adore those moments. So I am very good at taking pictures of moments. And then years later, I love looking and remembering those moments. It's about each moment. So I do a lot of that. Take pictures while sleeping. I mean, I will flat take a picture of her while she's sleeping in the car, dipping her chicken nuggets. I mean, any moment that I'm feeling, I take a picture of it. Another thing is, and then we'll go further, I love talking to her about how much I love John and what a good father he is, what a good husband he is. I mean, we can laugh at the funny things he does, the way he smacks gum, the way he won't hang up the phone. Like when you talk to John on the cell phone, you could be there for days because he will not hang up. And just different little funny things that he says. He has this voice that he talks in. He used to do it with Bridget a lot, and he sounds like Mickey Mouse. I mean, all of those little funny things we talk about. And I feel like that's another thing that just, instead of like lecturing her on, because Brooke has a boyfriend that she's had for years that we really like. But I've told her many, many times, that's your life. You need to make those decisions. You need to make wise decisions. You need to do what it takes to be confident in yourself so that you make wise decisions. And lately, Brooke decided on her own that she wanted to lose a little bit of weight. She was never overweight, but she had gotten to that point where she wasn't happy. She wasn't feeling confident. And since then, she has lost, I think 13 pounds, and she looks amazing. Well, I can see how that has affected her life. She's working more. She's just way more an even keel in her attitude, in how she reacts to things, the decisions that she makes. I can really tell a big difference. So that is something I'm very proud of her for. So I took a lot of pictures when I saw her just looking so good, so confident, because I have been out of town with her in the past where she could put an outfit on and then it ruined the rest of the day. She has a negative vibe. She doesn't feel good about herself, doesn't feel like going anywhere. And I can relate because I've been there. So it's not a superficial thing that if you don't feel good in your skin, to figure out what it is, get to feeling good in your skin, and you will make better decisions. So I trust that with her relationship, she is making those good decisions. I don't want to hear about personal things. I don't want to hear about partying. I don't want to lecture her. I want to show her a good example. I want to show her what a good mom looks like and feels like. I want to tell her about my good parents felt like, looked like, why I do the things I do, what the advice that Nanny and Poppy gave to me. I want to instill those values in her naturally. And, when I tell her something and she can think back to this example, it's going to be much more valuable than me lecturing to her about not drinking or not doing this or not doing that. It's much more valuable to show them, why and, all of those things. So I really do love those talks about I tell her, things I did that I regretted. I don't tell her every little nitty-gritty detail about my life. I certainly don't talk about personal things between John and I. My children know John's the head of the household. God is the head of the household. John and I, then the children equally, and the family there too. They know the hierarchy around here. And what that creates is safety, a safe feeling. Your children don't want you running all around, not creating a safe environment. And so that's a big thing that I want to talk about. And I don't know if you know, but I created a Patreon channel. And even today, I've got another thing here, balancing feminine and masculine energies today we're going to talk about being a single mom, but even to be a mom, period. Your job is to guide them and use your masculine energy to be able to drive 6 hours and find your destination, charge your car, all those things that I have to do that if John was with us, he'd be doing. But in between that, there's that delicate dance of being back into your feminine energy and your nurturing. And that's what I was raised around. That comes very natural to me. Okay, so now let's get back to what we did. Okay, the next morning we went to the breakfast buffet, my favorite thing. And I told her we knew we needed to go get a bra, the tape, and it was so much colder there. North Carolina is a really cool state. We have the beach, the mountains. Even driving up those hills was scary for me. And because it's really flat here. So we got up there and my dress was long. So I wasn't quite as worried about it. I got something, but I didn't end up needing it. But her dress was spaghetti straps and short. And I will link our dresses down below. And because we loved them and they were not very expensive. And so we went and got her a wrap and we got the things we needed. We ate breakfast first, came right back to the hotel. Brooke went to the gym. She loves working out like her daddy. She loves vitamins like her daddy. She's got a lot of her daddy and my mom in her. My mom also is intrigued by vitamins, holistic things, doesn't like to take medicine, wears Birkenstocks, very much more of that very feminine granola vibe, if you know what I mean. So we ate breakfast. Then we went to the little mall. We got our things. We came back. Brooke went to the gym and I rested. That is something I rarely do these days, is just rest. It's almost like where you don't take a nap. You're just in that state. It's almost what I imagine like meditating, or it might even be REM sleep. But where you're not totally asleep, you might not even turn over, but I remember I kept thinking, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is good for you, Lisa. You need to rest. All those things that come. Because actually that's a feminine energy thing, is to rest and relax, take baths, do all those things that kind of feed your soul and where you're in your senses and you are just feeling that goodness, So I had a really good nap. Brooke came in from the gym and she got in the shower. And so I started waking up and I actually had my Gap video to post that night. It was a collaboration. So here we go back into my masculine energy. I had work to do. I had obligations. So I got that done and then we got ready for the wedding. Now it was raining, you guys. And I'm talking raining cats and dogs. It looked like somebody was sending buckets of water off the roof. Marnie and her husband were staying at the Biltmore. We were meeting them downstairs in this big, gorgeous lobby at 4:30. So we did that. We met Madison Payne from YouTube. We met her down there too. And we realized, the guy told us that not only was the wedding, she had already gotten a tent, a big, beautiful tent. Not only was the wedding not going to start at 6, they had to call the tent people back out because the tent had collapsed on a corner. So we had a lot of time to just sit and talk. I just enjoyed watching Brooke interact with these adults. And I enjoyed her meeting all these people that have been in my life for years, like Marnie. And I loved just watching that. I loved her being confident, happy, and, us spending that time together. Okay, I did take some pictures of her getting ready. Oh my gosh, you guys. So beautiful. So beautiful. Then I took up some pictures of us. I loved my dress. I came out and she says, wow, you get ready fast. Okay, then more things that I like to talk about Brooke with, and I've kind of already mentioned this, is stories of my childhood. Things were so different. Of course, you guys know this. Things were so different when we were young. And I like to tell her stories of like catching minnows down at the stream. That was one of my favorite things to do. We would have nets. We would make dams. I mean, we would make tree houses. We would make little camps in the woods. Everybody go home and get like one garden tool from their parents and, things like that. And then tell her ways I am proud of her, ways she has improved, unique traits that I love. Okay, this is something I think is very, very important. It's been for us. I think it's really good it's tempting to talk to your children about what they need to work on, but I think it's even more productive to talk to them about things that you have seen improvement and things that you love about them that are different and unique, especially with a mother-daughter. Brooke and I are so different. We just are. We're very different. She is a free spirit. She's so sweet and she feels everything. I guarantee she cried more than anyone at that wedding. She feels things on a deep level. And I didn't know that for a long time and I didn't appreciate it. And I didn't nurture that part of her for a long time because in my mind, suck it up. You know what I mean? Like, what's your problem? So I've really learned to nurture that part of her that is unique and different, tell her how much I love it, and just, I love that. Okay, observe life lessons, want to her experience nice things. Now, this may be, not popular thing to say, but I think a lot of how you view money, how you view success, how you view experiences, mindsets, all of those things are developed early in life. And if you're never exposed to nice things and happy people, successful people that still love their families, being successful doesn't mean you're a bad person. I think that is just very, very inspiring. I never want my children to feel like you can have it all. You can be very, very successful, a very good wife, a very good mother, a good person, buy nice things, and give to charity. You don't have to pick one thing. I think there are so many limiting beliefs instilled in children that I never want to do that. So anyway, okay, the wedding was gorgeous. I got to meet Christian, my editor, because that is how I met him, was through Sarah Jane. That was great. I've got cool pictures of the hallway, us going down there, and the lobby. And sorry, I'll probably sprinkle a lot of these pictures throughout. And then we sat at a table with Christian, his sister, her husband, Marnie, and her husband. I had a good filet, and Brooke ate the cake. We had pictures in like a little picture machine, and then we went to bed. We left around 9:30. And this is something you guys already know about me, is I'm really an introvert. I love being social. I love people. Brooke and I both love people, but I don't like crowds that much. I prefer an intimate setting. So when the wedding is starting to break up, people are starting to move around, dancing, all of that stuff, that's when it becomes a little bit more overwhelming to me. And Brooke was ready to go to bed, and we knew we had a 6-hour drive to come home. Doesn't sound like much to most of you probably, but for someone that doesn't travel very much, that's a long time. And it was somewhat stressful driving a car that wasn't mine. Well, in the meantime, Tesla notifies us that we can pick up my car that day, day before yesterday, Sunday. So we had to drive, which it was very easy to drive through Raleigh. It actually saved John, a 4 hours there and back going to get it. That was not okay, here's a little life lesson. We're stopping at the charging station. Brooke, I could drop this car off with hardly any charge in it, but that would not be the thing to do. We're going to charge up this car and drop it off with a charge. I get in there. The place is booming on Sunday, and we have a hard time finding my car. The guy tells us to pop the trunk, so we do. We switch our stuff around, get in my car. It's on like 10%. We have to drive straight to a charger to charge it. They left it seat all back, left it in the service mode, pine straw and junk in there. That would be like another little ting to Tesla, because the service experience is not like it is with Volkswagen, with Buick, BMW, GMC. I'm trying to think of all the cars that I've had to service. It's not the same. And so we leave there, and both of us are feeling, I'm not kidding, we're both feeling a little frustrated. So we go charge, and then on the way home, Brooke looks at me and says, "Thank you for taking me, Mama." And I say, "You're welcome, baby. Thank you for coming with me," and all is well. And so we get home. I wear my pink outfit from Gap that I love so much. I love those Gap clothes. We actually did eat breakfast at the buffet, and I got a big old 4-egg omelet with sausage in it. And then John met us out on the driveway. He can track my car on the app, so he always knows where I am and when I'm coming home. And he fixed me steak and magic chicken, which magic chicken is chicken thighs cooked on the grill. And here we are. Brooke's actually upstairs right now doing some things for me. And we're going to go to the pool. And I'm going to do a video for my Patreon channel. John is playing golf. Will doesn't always like to go to the pool because there are a lot of kids over there and it can get loud and everything. So, and I will take him to lunch. I also think it's important to spend time with your son if you're the mother. And I do miss taking him to school and bringing him home. So I do try to grab every little moment that I can, but I'll be honest, him and John are tight. They're both computer geeks. They both love stuff like that. So it's very easy for them to spend that time and for John to in turn talk about those things with him. And then when we get together as a family, like we're getting ready to go to Palm Beach in about a month. So the dress I have on is the one from Guess that I shared with you in my Miami vlog. I did get my nails done pink, you guys. I'm back. I miss having colored nails. I know it's not as practical, but I miss it. I feel like this is me. And I'll put an outfit of the day in here. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.